Soccer, a game full of excitement, grit, and lots of disinfectant. Get your boots, soccer ball, water, and soap ready, and enter the world of Keppeki Dancer. Aoyama-kun. It's the final match for Japan's under-16 team, and they have just one chance to clinch the victory. Luckily, the last play is in the hands of Aoyama, who scores effortlessly, securing the win for his team. However, when his teammates rush to celebrate, he dodges them with almost supernatural agility, revealing that the star player dislikes being touched. At Fujimi High, Aoyama spends hours cleaning classrooms and everything he touches. While this annoys some of his peers, it makes him extremely popular among the school's female students. His behavior isn't much different during practice. He spends more time washing his hands than training. His obsession with cleanliness infuriates his teammate, Kaoru. Nonetheless, the team's coach explains that Aoyama suffers from mysophobia, an irrational fear of germs and dirt. Seeing this as a critical flaw, especially since soccer is a contact sport, Kaoru tries to convince the rest of the team that Aoyama doesn't belong. Yet, the team values our hero, shielding and protecting him from physical contact with other players, even from heading the ball. Furious, Kaoru argues that these are fundamental parts of the game, and the team's attitude is merely coddling Aoyama. However, his teammates turn against him, pointing out that the real spoiled one is Kaoru, who comes from a wealthy family. After practice, as Kaoru leaves, he spots a mysterious girl trying to open the locker room door, but she runs away upon seeing him. Before he can process this, the coach arrives and directs him to look inside the locker room. Inside, Aoyama is cleaning and disinfecting all the players' gear. The coach tells Kaoru that Aoyama's strength lies in adapting his movements to his own weaknesses. When the football team from Ashigami Minami High visits and their forward Akira Takeichi tries to persuade Aoyama to join his school, Aoyama declines, stating that Fujimi has something special no other school offers. Angered, Akira challenges the Fujimi team to a soccer match. In his first move, Aoyama dazzles the opponents with his speed and skill, scoring the game's first goal by himself. However, knowing our hero's weaknesses, Akira marks him with multiple players, as Aoyama's specialty requires freedom of movement, which is compromised if he must make contact with others. Seeing the star player neutralized, an enraged Kaoru steps up to attack, but despite his determination and tough attitude, his accuracy is off. To make matters worse, it starts raining, prompting Aoyama to refuse to move, fearing he'll get muddy. Nevertheless, Kaoru scolds him, prompting the young star to momentarily overcome his fear and assist in scoring the decisive goal, earning the respect of his former rival. At the end of the day, Aoyama cleans the school bathrooms, revealing that what makes Fujimi Academy special, and something no other school has, are the integrated bidets in the toilets. A young girl recalls how, during elementary school, she was always drawn to Aoyama, but her shy personality prevented her from speaking to him, except for one time when they exchanged words. Nowadays, Aoyama's fans are becoming a nuisance, crowding the field and disrupting normal training sessions, so it's not surprising that Kaoru is often seen shooing them away. After practice, in the locker room, Aoyama's teammates feel as though they are being watched, but they don't pay much attention and leave, allowing our hero to continue his daily cleaning ritual. The next day, upon arriving at the locker room, the team notices it's cleaner than usual. Even their clothes have been washed, folded, and stored in their lockers. Kaoru tells Aoyama that such extensive cleaning isn't necessary, especially going through their lockers, but Aoyama insists he isn't responsible. When he opens his own locker, he finds a plush cat inside. Over the following days, the same situation repeats, and with no idea who the cleaning fairy is, the team decides to take advantage of the situation and let their belongings be cleaned. During one of their practices, the young girl reminisces about the time she spoke to Aoyama as a child, when he was struggling with a cat that wanted to touch him. She gave him a plush cat and never spoke to him again. However, fate brought her to the same high school as him, and she decided to continue adoring him from afar. Aoyama spots the girl and surprises her by remembering her name, Mocha Goto. When she thinks he's going to expose her, Aoyama instead gives her cleaning supplies to do a better job. As the two chat, the rest of the team arrives at the locker room and jumps to the wrong conclusions. However, the misunderstanding is quickly cleared up, and the team decides to make Mocha the equipment manager, much to her delight. The next day, a rumor about Aoyama's fragrant towel spreads and causes chaos among those curious about its scent. Mocha takes drastic measures to protect her idol's towels by guarding them with a spiked baseball bat. However, the rumor attracts many people fighting over one of our hero's towels, forcing Kaoru to disperse the crowd. Later, an accident leads Kaoru to smell the towel, only to be caught in the act by Aoyama. While traveling to school, Aoyama's teammates discuss that to avoid contact with people, he never travels by train and only uses his bicycle. This could complicate their upcoming trip to play against Takata Academy. Unbeknownst to them, a mysterious young girl overhears their conversation and schemes. The day before the game with Takata, the team gathers to eat at a restaurant. Despite not wanting to join due to the rain, Aoyama is forced to dine with them. At the cafe, Aoyama continues his usual rituals, even refusing to eat the hamburgers served to him. Akira arrives at the restaurant and informs his teammates that Aoyama never eats food he hasn't prepared himself, implying they are unworthy of his company. This infuriates Kaoru, who tells him to stop spying on their practices. However, a boastful Akira responds that it's only a matter of time before Aoyama leaves them for a better team. Akira and Taichi Yoshioka engage in a food duel, devouring everything on the menu. Akira recalls a pass he received during an under-16 game that resulted in a goal, and how he yearns to receive another perfect pass from Aoyama. Taichi wins the eating contest, besting Akira for the second time. The rain stops, and everyone heads home. On the day of the match against Takata Academy, Kana, the girlfriend of Takata's captain, locks Aoyama in their club's locker room to prevent him from competing. The game starts, and Takata takes the lead, not because their players are talented or have a star like Aoyama, but because they play dirty. Moka finds and frees Aoyama, allowing him to join in the last minutes of the match. Although he manages to tie the score, one of the Takata players knocks our hero to the ground. Covered in dirt, Aoyama gets distracted, and Takata takes the lead again. However, Aoyama suddenly snaps out of it, scoring the final goal and declaring that while he hates dirt, he despises those who play dirty more. Fujimi emerges victorious, and although Takata was defeated, they now have a sparkling clean locker room, courtesy of Aoyama. Cheyenne Narita shares a cleaning obsession with his classmate Aoyama but keeps it a secret, considering it an embarrassment, unlike Aoyama who can't help but show it. Cheyenne spends his days immersed in online games to avoid physical contact with people. Every morning, Cheyenne arrives early at school to clean his desk and enjoy a few moments of solitude before the classroom fills up with his peers and their germs. Unlike Aoyama, however, he suffers in silence. During a home economics class, Aoyama excels due to his speed and coordination, whipping up delicious dishes in record time, which Cheyenne envies. The aroma of the food attracts more students, but there isn't enough to go around, prompting Cheyenne to also cook exquisite delicacies. As more people arrive, Cheyenne and Aoyama find themselves cooking more and more, which suddenly escalates into a cook-off. Both are talented cooks because their obsession compels them to eat only food they have prepared themselves, forcing them to learn to cook. Tired of the rivalry, Cheyenne asks Aoyama to teach him how to make a latte like his, and the two become friends. Later in the virtual world, a new player joins Cheyenne's gaming group, and although he can't pinpoint the player's real identity, some behaviors remind him of his classmate. The next day, Cheyenne notices an official keychain from the online game on Aoyama's backpack, leading him to suspect that the soccer player might be the new member of his online group. However, he hesitates to ask directly and instead tries to pick up on certain clues. His investigation is disrupted when a classmate's gym uniform goes missing, with everyone except Aoyama considered a suspect. After sifting through the data, Cheyenne becomes the prime suspect. As panic sets in and he finds himself surrounded by classmates, he inadvertently acts even more suspiciously and decides to flee, but is quickly caught and tackled. Just as Cheyenne's face is about to hit the ground, Aoyama intervenes with the missing uniform, clearing up the confusion. It turns out its owner had accidentally stored it in a different classroom. Aoyama, recognizing Cheyenne's nature, offers him the chance to declare his misophobia to the class, but Cheyenne refuses. He also discovers that the soccer player is indeed the new member of his online group. Cheyenne is also surprised to find that in the online world, where he feels less restrained, Aoyama's character is actually quite messy, contrasting his real-world persona. The next day, Cheyenne assists Aoyama in cleaning the classroom, cementing their newfound friendship and mutual understanding. Jin Tsukamoto is the team's clown, known for performing tricks with his rear instead of scoring goals. His main aim is to bring laughter to people. However, this doesn't fully define him, as the coach relies on him to keep the team's morale high. Meanwhile, Kaoru is shocked to discover that even the team's captain is a member of Aoyama's fan club, driven by his girlfriend's enthusiasm for Aoyama. Fujimi's next match is against Minamata Fuzoku High. Upon arrival, the team is in high spirits, and Jin entertains them until a ball accidentally hits him in the face. The ball is kicked by Ryo Katamatsu, the captain of Fuzoku, who apologizes. However, his presence visibly disturbs Jin. As the game begins, Fujimi quickly takes the lead thanks to Aoyama. Nonetheless, one spectator remarks that despite Aoyama's skill, soccer is a team sport, and a mistake by any other member could cost them dearly, potentially forcing Aoyama to leave the school he loves. Realizing this, Ryo targets the rest of the team instead of Aoyama, identifying Jin as the weakest link. He scores 2 goals by exploiting Jin's paralysis whenever he faces him. During halftime, Jin hides in the bathroom, overhearing members of the opposing team mocking him for being bullied by Ryo at their previous school, which causes his paralysis. Jin fears he will be replaced in the second half. Jin's friends, Taichi and Kazuma, overhear this, along with Aoyama, who is cleaning the toilets. The second half begins, and Jin is surprised to find he hasn't been replaced. His friends had asked the coach to keep him in, recognizing the loyalty of their team. Ryo tries to bypass Jin again, who remembers how Ryo used to torment him in school whenever he tried to make people laugh, causing him to freeze in fear. However, realizing Ryo's tactics focus on surpassing Jin, his teammates prepare and mount a defense around him. This support helps Jin regain confidence, and Aoyama even passes the ball for Jin to score with his rear, tying the game and boosting morale. Fujimi wins the match, but some observers note that Aoyama underplayed to support Jin, which could be costly in future games. Atsumu Ozaki is a successful manga author and a classmate of Aoyama. When his agent requests a new story, Atsumu promises to meet the deadline while closely observing our hero for inspiration. At school, Atsumu's identity as the author of the moment's most popular manga is a secret. Solitary and reserved, he spends hours seemingly staring at random points, witnessing events like a math teacher tearing up Jin's manga and threatening to dispose of kittens that Mocha was feeding, prompting him to save the cats and scold the teacher. Inspired by these real-life events, Atsumu's manga hero saves a village of cats in his next issue. Now needing a new story, Atsumu misinterprets some situations and concludes that Aoyama is a bully who mistreats everyone around him, forcing them to clean and thus controlling the entire school. This misinterpretation inspires Atsumu to create a story where his hero faces a tyrant called the Blue Wizard, who manipulates everyone to keep his own hands clean. To Atsumu's surprise, the Blue Wizard becomes extremely popular. Annoyed, he strives issue after issue to make the character more despicable, which, contrary to his intentions, only boosts the character's popularity further. Even making the Blue Wizard develop a phobia of dogs leads to a surge in popularity and action figures. Determined to make the Blue Wizard the most hated character ever, Atsumu turns him into a misogynist, which finally decreases his popularity, much to Atsumu's delight. However, his editor warns that this downturn is bad for business, especially with an animated series on the horizon, and orders Atsumu to restore the character's likability. Atsumu tries every trick to make the Blue Wizard more amiable, but each attempt fails, and the character's popularity plummets. Confused by his failure, Atsumu asks Aoyama for his opinion on the manga. Aoyama reveals he doesn't read it because he dislikes the artwork. Frustrated and insulted, Atsumu reverts the Blue Wizard back to being despicable, which, paradoxically, skyrockets the character's popularity once again. The next day, students celebrate the evil wizard's return, leaving a baffled Atsumu who still can't grasp why the character is so beloved. During a basketball game, Aoyama meets Mio Odajirai, one of the most popular girls at school and a member of the basketball team, though not particularly skilled at shooting baskets. During basketball practice, Aoyama excels as usual but notices that Mio's teammates envy her popularity while mocking her inability to score. Ever optimistic, Mio jokes about asking Aoyama to teach her how to shoot. In reality, Mio's starting position is at risk if she cannot improve her scoring, a fact she hides behind her cheerful demeanor. Seeing her struggle, Aoyama decides to help and gives her a few pointers, which she follows and successfully makes a basket. Grateful, Mio touches Aoyama's shoulder, and to everyone's surprise, he does not dodge her. This sparks a rumor that they might be dating. The rumor spreads like wildfire, and soon the entire school believes Aoyama and Mio are a couple because he interacts with her in ways he does with no one else, not flinching when touched, playing Thumb Wars, and even asking her to make him a homemade lunch. This causes total chaos among both Aoyama's and Mio's admirers, but particularly affects Cheyenne, who is jealous of Aoyama possibly overcoming his misophobia. Aoyama invites Mio to watch his soccer game so they can high-five each other when he scores a goal, which she happily agrees to. During the game, Aoyama and Mio share a high-five, but Mio clarifies they are not dating, much to everyone's relief. Meanwhile, Mocha realizes that Aoyama just wanted to experience being touched, breaking her heart as she comes to terms with not being the chosen one. Tsubasa Yumiya, a Judo prodigy whose career is about to take off, crosses paths with Mocha, who is routinely cleaning the path for Aoyama to walk through. Yumiya decides to join the soccer team, much to the dismay of his judo coach, who quickly realizes that Yumiya's decision is motivated by his desire to be near Mocha. In a furious attempt to bring Yumiya back to judo, the coach tries to physically force him but is defeated by Yumiya. The soccer team becomes aware of Yumiya's reasons for joining, and they debate how useful he will be since Mocha only has eyes for Aoyama. Despite this, the coach sees potential in Yumiya's physical skills and discipline. After practice, Yumiya speaks with Mocha and helps her clean, using it as an excuse to be close to her. He follows Mocha everywhere, helping her clean, even though it indirectly means cleaning for Aoyama, but his devotion doesn't bother him. This earns him the affection of his teammates, who hope to see him and Mocha become a couple. After Mocha and Yumiya clean a drinking fountain, Aoyama decides to clean it himself. Mocha, embarrassed, hides, and Yumiya asks her when she fell in love with Aoyama. Mocha says it just happened, to which Yumiya compassionately replies that he will do everything he can to make her happy, even if it means being with Aoyama. Yumiya invites Aoyama and Mocha to the zoo, which his teammates perceive as a strategy for Aoyama to reject Mocha, allowing Yumiya to step in. They decide to intervene. On the day of the outing, Yumiya only has eyes for Mocha, Mocha only for Aoyama, and Aoyama is just excited to see the animals. Yumiya encourages Mocha to talk to Aoyama, but she hesitates. Inside the cat exhibit, they run into Mio, another cat lover, who joins their group. Frustrated by having to compete with Mio, Mocha feels defeated. However, when two strangers threaten the group and push Yumiya to the ground, Mocha readies her baseball bat to defend Aoyama, but Mio steps in first, pushing the men away and allowing the group to escape. To end their zoo visit, the pairs decide to take a boat ride on the lake. Mio and a friend feed the fish, while Aoyama and Mocha share a boat, concluding their day together. Mio's friend notices Yumiya's affection for Mocha and asks why he encourages her to be with Aoyama. Yumiya replies that he does it for Mocha's happiness, and his patience and discipline mean he can wait. After watching an episode of her favorite anime, Miwa Takei, the soccer team's coach, invites the team to a training camp. The group decides to use a property owned by Kaoru's family, though initially, Aoyama chooses not to participate. That night at his mansion, Kaoru's father questions the need for a training camp, suggesting using his political connections to alter the game's rules to favor his son. However, their conversation is interrupted by Kaoru's younger sister, Karen, who is doted upon by her father. This display convinces him not only to allow the camp but also to use his contacts to invite other teams and even a filming crew, essentially moving the entire school to the vacation complex. Despite his initial reluctance, Aoyama joins the team, having thoroughly disinfected the bus himself. Upon arriving at Kaoru's vacation complex, Aoyama is accommodated in a private suite with its air purifier, while, at Kaoru's request, the rest of the team stays together in a traditional room. At the beach, while all teams play soccer on the sand, Aoyama refuses to step onto it. However, when the team captain is injured, the coach invites Mocha to take his place, having noticed that she has been secretly training. Mocha displays impressive ball skills, dodging all opponents and even feigning injuries. Eventually, she goes up against Aoyama, momentarily dodging him, but he tackles her, and she feigns injury again. Aoyama, who despises dishonest play, is displeased but acknowledges her evasive skills. During a swimming exercise, the group discovers that the complex is actually a dome created by Kaoru's family to enhance his training opportunities. The team relaxes with a dinner cooked by Aoyama and later enjoys a haunted house, which Aoyama cleans thoroughly afterward. Satisfied with the cleanup, the team returns home, and Coach Takei continues her anime binge. Another day of training ends, and Kaoru, Kazuma, Jean, and Taichi are curious about the mysterious woman who visited Aoyama during practice. Realizing they know nothing about their star player, they decide to follow him home. The quartet tries to tail Aoyama on their bicycles, but he quickly realizes and loses them. However, when Kaoru and his friends stop for a snack, they accidentally run into Aoyama carrying grocery bags towards his home, prompting them to resume their pursuit. Upon reaching Aoyama's house, the group decides to enter on their own, knowing their stoic friend would never invite them. Inside, they discover Aoyama preparing dinner for Seigo Ibuki, a famous football player from the national team, and learn that the house actually belongs to Seigo. The next day, Aoyama slips away from practice, prompting Kaoru and Mocha to follow him to Ashigami Minami High School's training field, where they see him talking with Akira and Koju, the mysterious girl from the previous day. Fearing Aoyama might leave the team, Kaoru and Mocha confront him. Kaoru and Mocha learn that Seigo plans to play for Ashigami and that Koju is a childhood friend of Seigo. Aoyama challenges Seigo to a duel, but midway through, he stops the match, noticing that Seigo is distracted and not focused on the game. That evening, Aoyama visits Seigo at his house to cook dinner, but Seigo is anxiously waiting for a call or visit from Koju, which never comes because Seigo accidentally added mayonnaise to Koju's food, leading her to break up with him. Aoyama helps Seigo reconcile with Koju. Although his initial attempts are disastrous, Koju eventually confesses her love to Seigo during a soccer match. Once the couple is reconciled, Aoyama has a rematch with Seigo and loses again, while a distant Kaoru wonders about the other secrets the misophobic player might be hiding. Kazuma changes his hairstyle to mimic Aoyama, boosting his confidence and dramatically improving his performance, mood, and popularity among the school's females. This transformation, however, is not well received by his friends Jin and Taichi, who feel that Kazuma is becoming unrecognizable, losing his sense of humor and drifting away from their group. On the other hand, Kaoru welcomes Kazuma's transformation, appreciating the improvements in his gameplay and his newfound knack for scoring goals, even as a defender. But the harmony is short-lived when Kazuma demands to take over Kaoru's position as the forward, desiring only to score goals. The two enter a fierce competition, which Kazuma wins with his supposed ability to hear the whispers of the soccer god, leaving Kaoru benched for the next game. That night, Kaoru's father threatens him with an ultimatum: regain his starting position or quit soccer forever. The next day, desperate, Kaoru asks Mocha for training, recalling her skill during the training camp. Despite her shyness, Mocha agrees, motivated by the prospect of enhancing the team's performance and making Aoyama happy. During their sessions, Mocha highlights all of Kaoru's weaknesses, essentially everything except his heading skills. She tries to get Kaoru to shoot at the goal, but he quits after meeting the minimum requirements, a mindset ingrained by his father's philosophy. Mocha realizes that the issue isn't lack of talent but rather lack of training, and she forces Kaoru to continue practicing even when his father tries to buy his son's starting position with money. An irate Mocha dismisses the father's attempt and insists Kaoru keep training. The rigorous training pays off, and the next day, Kaoru shows significant improvement. Meanwhile, Kazuma's scoring streak ends when he discovers that the soccer god was actually mistaking him for Aoyama and stops whispering to him. Facing an existential crisis, Kazuma returns to his original self, reuniting with his friends Jin and Taichi. Kaoru successfully regains his starting position, restoring the team's dynamics. Kaoru is troubled by the prospect of Aoyama leaving Fujimi's soccer team after spotting recruiters discussing opportunities with him to join more prestigious teams. This fear rekindles Kaoru's old feelings of abandonment. Accompanying Aoyama, Kaoru expresses his understanding that Aoyama is destined for greater things than Fujimi but pleads with him to focus on tomorrow's game first. The next day, Kaoru stands at a grave, recalling when he promised his mother he would score a goal if she watched his game. Accompanied by his father and sister, they head to the match. During the warm-up, Kaoru is distracted, and a teammate who saw him at the cemetery deduces that it is the anniversary of his mother's death. The team secretly decides to let Kaoru score a goal in her honor. The match against Kuraishi Institute proves challenging due to their star defenders and tactics that neutralize Aoyama, ending the first half in Kuraishi's favor. At halftime, Kaoru reflects on the last time he saw his mother, when he invited her to his first game as a starter. The second half continues poorly for Fujimi, with Kuraishi scoring another goal. To make matters worse, Aoyama dives to prevent a third goal, getting dirty in the process, which distracts him. When Kaoru confronts Aoyama, who suggests if he's not willing to win, he should be replaced, Kaoru becomes enraged. This ignites a fire in Kaoru, who then gives his all, and the team rallies around him until he scores a goal as a tribute to his mother. Aoyama then scores the winning goals for Fujimi. After the game, the team meets Kaoru's mother, who isn't dead but has been living abroad doing humanitarian work. The grave Kaoru visited that morning belongs to his ancestors. His mother praises him before leaving again for Brazil. The next day, recruiters approach Aoyama again, questioning why a star of his caliber would waste his potential at Fujimi. Aoyama reveals to his friends that he intends to stay with the team because the white in their uniforms symbolizes cleanliness, aligning with his own values.